Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, Nadeem Zahawi, or as you like to call him, Pinhead Zippy, has said that civil servants, basically, so the nurses, street cleaners, dustmen, council workers, all these type of people who do very important jobs in this country. He said those type of people should not ask for more money, right, to send a message to Vladimir Putin. Do you know, I live in a country, right, where the people are thick. All the right wing. Anyone who votes for the Tories, anyone who's kept these people in power all these years, right, you are stupid. You're an ass, right? You're a big backside head, right? Your head is like a big backside, right? And it's got nothing in it. This fool, Nadeem Zahawi, this fucking fool, right, is the same one, right, who was charging the taxpayer, right, to heat his stables. When's the last time you charged the taxpayer to heat your stables? He's charging the taxpayer. Right? This man's a multi-millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire, right? And he thinks it's okay, right, to turn around to the nurses and say to the nurses, you know something, yeah? And the hospital porters and all the people who work in the hospitals, you don't ask for more. How dare you, right? Because, right, you should send a message to Vladimir Putin. Tell Vladimir Putin, yeah, we will not be held hostage to energy. So take a pay cut in that case. Someone should say to them, I'll tell you what you should do. How about all of you guys, all right, just take £20,000 in expenses, right, and give all of your wages over to charity. How about that? Oh, they wouldn't go for that. Even with their multi-millionaire selves. Oh no, they wouldn't go for that at all. Right? You know, it's just amazing what the people in this country will put up with. The people in this country are basically arses. They're idiots. You know, that's what this country is just full of. It's just full of fucking fools. You know, I mean, it's very similar. When you've got the Republicans in America, it's very similar. But over here, right, to see this over here, it's just, I don't understand. I'm telling you, I don't understand any of this. There's not one piece of this that I understand. That's what I can say, right? Because for a man so if he's claiming, yeah, for expenses for his stables, right, then obviously, right, he's claiming expenses for so much other things. Yeah, all at our expense. He can buy himself another house, all at our expense. And because the thing is, because like these guys, because how rich they are, well, I can't live in a terraced house. I've got to have some type of mansion where I can have a duck house and stables. Right? And and we, like, all you people who vote for the Tories, like fools, right? When these people are just ready to just say, something, yeah, right, what do you need? What do you need money for? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with money? Money is for people like Nadeem Zahawi, right, and Rishi Sunak, the Indian stick insect. Money is for people like those people. Money's not for the likes of us. Oh no, they're like, oh no. Look at the struggle, right? What the nurses are having with their, with their wages, right? Sometimes the agency nurses in this country, right? They pay like $2,500 for a shift. Obviously, the nurse don't get that type of money. I mean, there's no way the nurse can get that type of money. I don't know what the nurse gets, but I've heard that's what they pay sometimes, up to $2,500 for a shift. And obviously, there's no way the nurses can't get anywhere near that. Because I mean, every single nurse would then be on agency. None of them would work for the NHS full time, because they don't. Well, if I could get that type of money, all I have to work is 2 days a week, right? But seriously, yeah, I don't understand the people of this. That's what I just that's why, yeah, it leaves me speechless. That's what it does. It leaves me speechless and it leaves me lost for words. And the only words I can come up with is thick, stupid, idiots, dunces, dense, twats. Words like that. Right? Now, I shouldn't be using words like that. I should be able to come up with something much more intelligent than that. But when you got stupid, right? You can't beat around the bush. You've just got to call stupid out. And these people in this country, right, who vote for the Tories are stupid. Every last one of you, apart from the real Tories. The real Tories, I respect the real Tories, right? And the problem is there's not that much of them. I still respect them though, because they're real, they're rich people. So, right, they're voting for their circumstances. Even though I think it's bloody well selfish, but I still respect them much more than any fool from the working classes who vote for the Tories. Is you people, right, are the dense jackasses. And welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages sent me. And a special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll go for all your messages. I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. And we're going to start in America with you know who? Donald J. Trump. Anytime he wants to send a message, yeah, on his Truth Social, and he wants you to know that like he's serious, he always puts it down like that. The president, Donald J. Trump. Anyway, Donald Trump. He wants the last election voided, and he wants to be placed into power, and then he wants the Constitution torn up. What? What? This man, right? An insurrection, right? And then next week he's sitting down with anti-Semites, right, and white nationalists, right? Praising the Proud Boys and David Duke. I don't even know who David Duke is. Yeah, well, you and your dad used to go to fucking Ku Klux Klan rallies, but you don't know who David Duke is. Give me a fucking break, right? And then, hold on. And then he's praising the January 6th and saying how badly these people got treated. The same week, right, that the guy, that one of the Oath Keepers gets found guilty of sedition or seditious conspiracy. I believe it's the same thing, right? But the same week, and now he's unhinged. How the fuck are you talking about? You want to terminate, right? I put some other words, didn't I? Terminate, disband the Constitution. I mean, what? I don't know what's going on with him. But then I saw some Republicans being interviewed, and one of them was turning himself in knots, saying, well, because the guy was saying to him, like, so you would vote for Donald Trump knowing that he wants to tear up the Constitution. He wants the Constitution voided, terminated. So you'd vote for him. And and this guy, yeah, well, I'm a Republican. After the insurrection, I would say it's gone way past, right, being a Republican, right, and MAGA. I mean, there's a massive difference. And if it's the case that MAGA is running the Republicans, then a real conservative would say, well, no, I'm not going to vote for that. There's no way that I'm voting for that. That's what a real conservative would say. And listen, you know me already, yeah? I have no time for real conservatives. No, actually, real conservatives I do. Right? Because real conservatives, I say, you know what? Because my real conservatives, they're going to be rich, upper class people, right? So, that's down to them. If they want to vote for Tories, that's completely down to them. But, the working classes, you're shooting yourself in the fucking foot when you're doing it, right? So, but for him to, real conservatives, right, should be like, no, that's too much. You've gone too far, right? I mean, the insurrection should have been too far, right? Donald Trump should never be able to pull so many people, right, at any rally ever again. Not with the insurrection, Right? But these people are like, oh, well, you know something, they stopped us. So what we should do is defund the FBI. And they're just open with it. They just don't care. They're open with it. Yeah, we'll just that's what we'll do. Right, we'll defund we'll take sanctions against the DOJ. Seriously, right? Do you know? Right, with every single black person who's been murdered by the police, I wish the Republicans would come out and say, well, these police need defunding. Stop going around murdering these black people for no reason. Not, oh, well, you know what? Some police officers, the MAGA crowd beat some police officers, beat a couple of police officers, one or two to death on the 6th of January, at least one to death. Right, a couple died after, a couple of days later, and some commit suicide. And, the amount of police officers, right, who could no longer work after that day is unbelievable. And still, right, the Republicans will not come out and say, you know something, yeah, now this is it. I can remember, yeah, on the 7th of January, like seeing like prime Republicans going and saying, that's it, we're done. We're finished. I'm not backing Trump no more. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, all of them was at it on the 7th of January. And then they're all, next thing I know, these guys are all MAGA again. I'm like, well, how does that work? Even Donald Trump taking the piss out of Mitch McConnell's wife, let alone Ted Cruz's wife, but taking the piss out of Mitch McConnell's wife just the other day. And Mitch McConnell is still just like whimpering around him. He's just dancing around the fact that he had anti-Semites and, and about this about wanting to tear the Constitution around. He's just dancing around it when he should come out and say, listen, this is nonsense. Right? This man can't ever go anywhere near the presidency ever again. That's what he should be saying, but they're not. Ron DeSantis has made a complete fool of himself because he's a damn idiot. I mean, he's made a fool of himself, yeah, because he's said that he was going to fuck with Disney's taxes, yeah, if they use words like gay, right, within the Disney establishment. Now you see, the difference is, yeah, if I was running Disney, I would have just said, you know what? If Ron DeSantis is voted in as governor again, right, then I'm going to move Disney. I'm moving out of Florida and moving to another state. Because Florida would be fucked if Disney went. Right? Because all you've got down there is crocodiles after that. That's it. Right? Might even be alligators. But if you're being attacked by one, I mean... But... from what I've heard, yeah, if you're being attacked by an alligator or a crocodile, yeah, you've got to give it a firm punch on the nose. That might be a shark. Or a lion. I don't know. But I don't think any animal would like a good punch on the nose. Anyway, that's what I would do if I was running Disney. I'd just be like, you know something, right? That's it. I'm leaving Florida if this man is our governor again. Gone. Leaving it. Right? But Disney, because obviously Ron DeSantis believes that nobody's gay. There's no gay people, and white people was helping black people out during slavery. He's probably said something about the Native Americans as well that probably didn't make any sense. He'd probably say something to the words of, well, they invited us over and then they all committed suicide. That's probably what Ron DeSantis would say. Right? The only time Ron DeSantis, right, made any type of traction around the world, what he should have been, right, was when he was dressed in his white fabulous boots. That man's a fucking idiot. One of the QAnon head honchos has been outed as a paedophile. And see, there's that projection again, right? Because that's what QAnon is about. That. It's about this underground movement, right, of people like, Tom Hanks and Hillary Clinton and all these Hollywood elites, right, who drink the blood of children. I mean, if you drink the blood of children, obviously you must be having sex with children too, if you can drink their blood, right? Under some pizza restaurant, this is what these guys have been doing for years and eating children's brains to keep them, so they, obviously the drinking of the blood is to make themselves, keep themselves youthful. That doesn't seem to have worked for Hillary Clinton or Bill, Right? That doesn't seem to have worked, right? If they're drinking the blood of children and it's supposed to keep them youthful, I would say to them, you know what? I think you should stop. I think you should stop drinking the blood of kiddies, right? Because it's not making you any younger. In fact, in fact, I think you look older than your actual age. Right? So if that's what you're doing, then you should stop immediately. That's what I'd say to them. I don't know if you see that. Well, obviously you must have seen the England game, and England have gone through to the last 8. I'll tell you something, yeah. If I was France, I'd be watching out because you know people say, oh, you got France. If I was France, I'd be watching out because I'm telling you, this England team, they are really good. They are absolutely excellent. And I think that like they've got two of the best players in the world as well with Bellingham and Phil Foden. I think that them because but I mean Bellingham because he's only 19, yeah, and he's just like he's just such an all-round excellent player, and Phil Foden as well. Phil Foden's just a brilliant player as well. But then England they've got because obviously they've scored the most goals so far. They've gone through on 7 points, so they haven't lost a game, and they've had the most players score goals out of everyone, right? Because England is, they've got so many players that can score goals. I mean, you start from like Rashford, Sterling, Saka, the captain. I can't never remember his bloody name. The captain, the Tottenham guy. I can never remember his name. Right, Jack Grealish. Bellingham. You've got all of these people who score goals, and I think a lot of them have scored goals. I don't know. I think it's probably 6 or 7 of them that have scored goals. It might even be more. Might even be 8, but I think it's 6 or 7 of them of different players who have scored goals for England. And you've got people like France relying on one or two players to score goals. I know they've got players who can score goals, but when you're talking about the England team, I'm looking at these guys, and so much of them can score goals. I mean, from midfield and strikers. You've got midfield players who just naturally score goals, all the time. And obviously, your striker, under that type of pressure, your striker's got to score. If your midfield guys are scoring, right, your strikers got to. So that puts a lot of pressure on the strikers as well. But the amount of players that England have got that can score. So I say something. Yeah, I would say that because Senegal, right, at least 10 of their players play over here. So that's amazing. They've got so much players that play in this country, and England just bust them up 3-0. I found that amazing. Raheem Sterling has left Qatar because his house was burgled. And this morning they were saying it was an armed robbery and his family was held up and all that. But no, what happened was I think that the house was burgled while they was out, and some watches and jewellery was taken out of his mansion. And you think, how the hell you got a mansion and people can break in there? I mean, it's me. First you'd have to get past. First you'd have to get over the wall, right, with the barbed wire, right. Then you'd have at least 4 dogs, right, that you'd have to deal with, right? And then, of course, all this time I'd be watching you on the Ring security. So I don't know how the hell, right, his house has managed to get burgled, his mansion has managed to get burgled, right, when nowadays there's so much different security. And dogs, right, so much different security. Do you know what I mean? You think, well, how's that work? But it did. So Keir Starmer wants to abolish the House of Lords, which is a bloody good thing, and I would love to see him do it. Right? For them to have an elected second chamber. But I think a lot of these guys who are Lords would never have any chance of getting in. Never. Cruella de Braverman wants to indefinitely hold migrants in custody and then send them all to Rwanda. She said, if they come here illegally, that's what she said. I said, hold on a minute. Didn't we work out the other day that, didn't you say for yourself the other day, right, that the only way to claim asylum is to get here and do it? And now, all of a sudden, right, oh, we want to, we want to keep them all jailed and send them all to Rwanda. I said, well, first of all, yeah, it's only 500 people you can send to Rwanda, firstly, right? And just the other week, you said something completely different. You said, well, they can't, they can't come here. Well, you said they're illegal, but the only way for them to claim asylum, right, is for them to come here illegally. But, I'm quite sure the people of this country will still be like, oh, she's a good person to vote for, because you're a bunch of damn idiots. 6 children have died from sepsis, which, I mean, it's I think in children they might call it strep A in children, but I think it is basically sepsis. And we've had, I think there's been quite a few more. I think there's been about 12, but at the moment they're reporting about 6. But I'm sure that it's been about 12 children, and that's from since September. So obviously they're saying that parents need to watch out for for things like sore throats. I think there's a certain type of rash as well that parents have got to watch out for. But I remember a few years ago it was the meningitis. I suppose that's probably still there, but it was meningitis a few years ago that was like killing off quite a few kids. But this strep A seems to be quite serious, and adults can get it as well. That's the thing. So it's not only children that can get it. I don't know if you've seen, if you heard any of the extracts from Matt Hancock's book, but Matt Hancock believes that, he believes that it was the people from the care homes, right? It was their fault that so much people died from coronavirus. After he was on the telly crying when the woman got the first jab. Remember, he was on the telly crying or pretending to cry, because in his book he's explained it as the tears was, his eyes was reddening and his face was wet with tears. Now, I saw it because they played it on GMB this morning, right? And I saw the whole thing, right? And there was no redness of his eyes, right? And there was certainly no wetness on his face. He did not cry. He was not crying, right? But therefore, in his from what I've heard about the diaries of his book, this man is turning around and saying, "Oh, he was there bawling like a little baby." And you people vote for that shit. I mean, if you've ever voted for Matt Hancock, right, what you should do, right? No, I'm not going to tell you what to do, because what I had in my mind was far too violent. An electrician was jailed, for 2.5 years. I think this guy from Bedford. Now, 2 guys went onto his drive, and I think they was going to go into his shed and obviously try and steal. He had a scrambler or something like that in the shed, so they was probably going to go and try and steal that. And he's seen them on the camera. He's probably got Ring camera, so it's alerted him on his phone and that. So his wife went and had a look, and then she's called him down, and then he's looked and he's seen them. So then he's like gone out, and these guys have jumped on a motorbike and they've ridden off. Now he's pursued them in a, I think it was in, he was in I think it was in an ML, Mercedes ML, so that's like your Jeep type thing, right? So he's pursued them in that, right? And he's managed to catch up to them, right? And he's touched their back wheel, right? He's obviously lost control of his car. He's obviously nearly killed them, right? He's gone into a tipper truck, right? So that's a 3.5 ton truck, right? And that's on its side, right? And his car's underneath it, and the tipper truck's on its side, right? So it's a whole heap of damage, right? He obviously nearly killed these 2 guys, and he's got 2.5 years. And obviously he was complaining, saying, "Well, these guys was trying to burgle my, but he had scared them off, right? That's the thing. He had scared them off, and that's the reason why his ass got 2.5 years in prison, because you can hurt a burglar, you can probably kill a burglar, right? But you can't do that to a burglar that's running out your house. Yeah, someone who's running out your house, you've got to leave them to run out, right? You can't go and if you go and grab, you can grab hold of them, I suppose. But if you grab hold of them, and then you end up killing them, right, then you're more than likely going to go to prison. Now, if a burglar's in your house, right, and they say that they're in like the living room and they've got to get past you, that's a different matter altogether. Now that would be self-defense, but it's not self-defense, right, when you shoot someone in the back who's running away from you, or you stab them in the back who's running away from you, or you come out of your house and you start pursuing people who you've already scared off. Right. So I could understand why he was found guilty and why the judge gave him that time in prison, because, you know, you can't go and start taking the law into your own hands in that way. I know, you know, obviously there's a lot of tension at that point. Obviously, that's a given, but you have to think about what it is you're doing. If the person's in your house, that's a complete different thing. But if they see you and they run, then, you know, if you pursue them, there's a good chance that you're going to end up in prison, and you know you're going to give a jury and a judge no option, because you know it's, you know, a jury's not going. They're not, you know, the judge, or, you know, if a judge can see that there's a chance that this person might not get found guilty by the jury, then the judge may well direct the jury to find the person guilty. So that's what you've got to understand. It's not like, you know, it's not, you know, the judge might let it go all the way, and you know, but and the jury finds you guilty, because in that case you haven't really got, if you pursue someone, you haven't really got much of a defense. If you pursue them, you have, if they, obviously, you know, they're running your house and they grab hold of your child and they're running out with the child, then obviously that's something different. But anything other than that, you have not got the right to start pursuing them, right, to do them damage, right, because the threat has already left. And I know that will wind you up, because this bastard has come and stolen your stuff, right, that you've worked hard for. But you know how this shit works. And I would just say to people, just don't do it. And in that way, you don't have to test the courts. Lady Susan Huzzy has been caught up in a race row. And you know something, I can't even bother with that shit. Do you know what I mean? Because you think to yourself, well, look, you know something, these people have been brought up, yeah, just, you know, because, you know, she's 83 or whatever. And, you know, she's been brought up in complete different times, even though, right, you know, this is a woman who has been meeting black people, black and Asian people her whole life. You know, she was at the Queen's side for 60 odd years. Right, she's one of the Queen's favourite ladies in waiting. So therefore, right, this woman would have met, you know, she probably would have met Gandhi, you know, Nelson Mandela. Well, she definitely would have met Nelson Mandela. You know, she probably would have, you know, did Reverend Jesse Jack, Reverend what's that? I Have a Dream. Martin Luther. Did you know, the Queen might have met like Martin Luther King, and this woman would have been by her side, right? So there's no excuse, right, for her going up to someone, right, who speaks in a London tone, right, and saying to them, "Where the fuck do you come from?" Right? You know, when the woman said, "I'm from fucking Hackney," where do you think I'm from? Right? That should have been enough. Do you know what I mean? You know, because she's speaking in a London accent, right? Now you know, it's quite simple. She could have gone to her like, all right, I can tell that you're British. Where do your parents come from? That's a different matter altogether. Do you know what I mean? You know, to assume that someone my age, right, parents wasn't born over here, that's perfectly fine, because they wasn't born over here, right? But, you know, if someone comes up and asks me that question, it depends on, I've had it all, you know, a guy that I see all the time, he asked me the other day, he said to me, "Where are you from, Jamaica?" "I'm from fucking London. What the fuck is wrong with you?" It's like, whatever. Less than half the people in this country now consider themselves to be Christians. And I'll tell you this, right? And you know, the reason for that, right, is because religion, it's like looking for, I don't know what it's like. It's like a blind person looking for a black cat in a black room and finding it. That's not for me. Not for me. Right? And you're probably, I know people are probably thinking to themselves, Victor Hugo? No, Oscar Wilde. Yeah, that's what Oscar Wilde said. Do you know what I mean? That's what religion is like. Looking for, a blind man looking for a black cat in a black room and finding it. Religion for you. I love, I used to do that all the time. I used to quote, oh shit, I'm just trying to think. Right, so Victor Hugo, because I think that Victor Hugo, yeah, and the other one I just mentioned, I think, right, that them two, right, are so similar. Do you know what I mean? Like, let me think. Victor Hugo, quote from Victor Hugo, right? A compliment is like a kiss through a veil. Victor Hugo, right? And so I just think the two of them, right? Their quotes was just so similar, just so similar. Which I've got, I don't know about. I don't even know why I'm going off the flipping thing there. Right. Anyway, right. The RMT have rejected the latest bid offer of 8%. Right? Over 2 years. Right? So it's 4%. It's over 2 years. So it's 4%. They say, well, we're going to give you 4 pence in the pound. That's why I'm laughing. Because that's how I'm thinking of it. As 4 pence. We're going to give you 4 pence in the pound. Right? Yeah? This year, the next year, we'll give you another 4 pence in the pound. Yeah? Look how long these people have been fighting. Right? For them to say that, yeah, ooh, you can get 8%, yeah? It's a horrible thing. The Met Office is due to go on strike as well. That's another one. So we've got civil servants. We've got so much civil servants going out on strike because so much of the hospital, so much hospital workers, the road workers, obviously the rail workers, even in the Royal Mail, they're giving out like £30,000 bonuses to managers who can get rid of staff. Do you know what I mean? So that's how these people are going on. So let's speak about some Brexit, because reversing Brexit now would not help the economy, says Keir Starmer. Really? Okay. Well, okay, you keep telling yourself that's okay. Brexit has failed to boost the UK economy, but it's still all to play for, says the Telegraph. Really? Okay, so it's fucked up the economy, but it's still all to play for. What's to play for? What is to play for? There's nothing to play for. Right? Brexit, right, is a disaster. Pure and simple. Disaster. Why are the two main parties in denial over Brexit, says the Independent? Yeah, someone should ask them. Someone should say to them, right, can we discuss the elephant in the room? Yeah, the Scottish guy said that to them the other day. And the consequences of Brexit are hitting hard, and the poor are getting it the worst, says The Guardian. But those people, right, are a bunch of woke lefties who know nothing because they was all Ramonas. And I should keep telling myself that, because it's not true. And what they said is true. That it's hitting the working classes, the less well-off, and the poor the hardest. It's like a sucker punch to the guts. That's what's happening to us. Joe Biden has been accused of being pro-EU, says The Express. And they're probably right. But then, I'm going to say, can we just go on simple mathematics? Right? 70 million people here, close on 500 million there. Who would you favour? I mean, if you had a company, right, and you said to that company, right, okay, you can do a deal purely with Great Britain, the United Kingdom, or you can do a deal with the EU. I mean, where are you going to go and deal? Because you'll be like, well, if I deal with the EU, can I also just deal with Britain as well? They'll be like, yes, yes, you actually can. I said, but if I just deal with just Britain, can I deal with the EU? No, no, wait till your Jose's. You cannot deal with just with Britain and expect to have a footfall in the EU. No, it's not going to work. But if you come to the EU, you'll have full access to Great Britain. So where are they going to go? I mean, you've got to imagine, right, that these people are not stupid Brexiters. So they're going to go to the EU. That's what they're going to do, because anybody would. I mean, you have to be stupid not to. Anyway, guys, look, I need to wrap this up because I am, what's that, 15, I believe 15 minutes over. But today is Monday, and the last video I done was on Saturday evening, right? But I done the video on Saturday evening, and next thing I know, right, I fell asleep, right, because I was going back to work a bit later, right? So I fell asleep for a couple of hours, right? When I woke up, the video hadn't uploaded. That's why I just upload. Then I had to stop it and then upload it again, and it uploaded a bit quicker that time. But sometimes these technologies get on my nerves, and I want to just take the phone and just fry it and smash it to pieces. But then I would have to go and buy another one. So that would be stupid. And because I'm not a stupid ass racist Brexiter like you Brexiters, I won't do something like that. Anyway, guys, look, I'm going to wrap this up. I am out of here, my friends. This is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.